instead that has been removed by the Falcons. So you've still got the Valkyrie, you've still got the Fenrir, you've still got the Solace. Now, what are 3 operators that Falcons have chosen right here and now to kick things off, Demo?
Yeah, they're strong. Very, very strong operator. Solace on Cafe, we know, is a nuisance. The fact that you can use the gadget to see where Claymores are going to be stacked for jump outs, for example, is fantastic. A lot of plant positions are destructible from below, so she can even have some plant denial if needed. Shall we talk about Fenrir? Shall we have a chat about him? And just my initial thoughts, Ollie. I don't think we've got a chance to actually really speak about him, have we?
Thoughts? I want to hear it.
Very, very strong. Very, very strong. The gadget fills a lot of roles. It kind of fills the role of what Melusi was, where it would give you an indicator someone's pushing, like Legion, for example, you know, barbed wire kind of esque, where it just gives you a notification that someone's pushing. The gadget itself, being able to take away someone's vision, it's so annoying if you get caught on that. Actually, it's an annoying gadget. It's one of those traps.
One word for it.
Of course. And here we go. Solace, this is what I'm on about. You can check, see if there's any Claymores, if anyone's there. Sadly misses the Q. But anyway, back to Fenrir. Fenrir is so good in this meta because his gadget is so good stopping rushes. There is so many rushes in this game right now. That's how the meta has developed. Know where we get probably into teams like W7M, where we know they have a strat and a rush for every map ×2. That's where you'll see the real power of Fenrir. I don't know if we'll see the real value out of him because NIP, I don't think, are really the team that would go for the rushes, maybe the odd one, but like you said before, they're a much more composed team, aren't they?
It's going to give them a lot of problems to solve and a lot of mini games because you've got, you know, the Fenrir, you've got things like the Mozzie. We've already seen good value out of Mozzie's pest there, being able to capture a couple of the shock drones from Twitch. We've already seen how aggressive Falcons are willing to play in the opening part of this game. I think just about everyone was at a window in the opening 15-20 seconds, looking for something that they could find. Like you say, just because you maybe don't see anyone out on the rappel as the Solace, you can still check for Claymores, you can still have a look if you get that call, if you get that suspicion. NIP are making good progress though. They made their way into that top floor and it's forced Quibs to actually make that drop off. There's still a couple of C4s below threatening, but top floor control isn't going too badly at the moment for NIP.
Yeah, they've got top floor quite easily, mostly because there isn't a deployable shield on the side of Falcons, so you don't have that kind of extra layer of cover where you'd see maybe like a Jaeger or something play, you know, kind of suicide position upstairs where he'll sit there behind the shield, have NIP burn through all the utility, but they're not going to go for it. They've kind of fallen off very early on, but I feel as though they probably should have got a pick before they went for the back off, because now a minute to go and Pino could just start ripping up the floor, and there isn't really any safe positions you can have in reading that won't get you killed from above. So NIP now, they just have to make sure, Ollie, that they're set up in the correct position, so whenever the sledge comes in, opens up these angles, someone's ready to catch on the pinch as Falcons run away.
Wizard going to pick up the opening kill there onto J-Lad. It puts even more pressure on the C4s that are from below. The flank's being watched now. We've got Muzi on the IQ. He's able to spot out a lot of the gadgets. We haven't seen anything really come to light with Fenrir's gadget so far. Muzi got caught in it for a brief second earlier, but he's been able to ping out a lot of that utility. We can see one there just above the reading door, but look at this pressure coming in vertically. Cons, he gets caught out in the Fenrir, but he doesn't care. He's going to stick the plant anyway. Psycho from above picks up his second Joker. Got a lot of work to do now, along with O-Kills, especially seeing as the plant has gone down. Muzi, he's just occupying this space on wide stairs. He's got Psycho below. That's going to give the cue to call and the information. Pino from above, he's going to find one. And O-Kills, well, it was always going to be a tough ask. NIP, what's this power trio? What's this power quad of defenders? All you need is an IQ demo.
Yeah, very, very clean attack, isn't it? Very, very clean. That's what you expect to see from a team like NIP, where they are so concise if things go to plan. Whenever things don't go to plan for NIP and they start getting dominated in that opening kill department, that's where they start to struggle and they slow down. And then we're sitting there thinking, NIP, once again, so slow. But as it stands, a good first round. You look at that reading bomb site, where we've seen Ace go in for the plant. There is no position that you can have that can stop that plant without exposing yourself to the verticality above. Very similar to how maybe Border on ventilations would play out, where you just sit above, hold the angle on the reading door, hold an angle on the rotation hole. You can't do anything to stop that as the defense. You need to play aggressive if you're Falcons. You cannot allow NIP to set up like that, because they will rinse you, which they've just done that.
Shows great commitment from NIP as well, because they didn't all commit to the bomb site. They knew what they needed to do.
Just one plan.
They had the vertical control, they had the restraint, they've got that experience. Again, it all comes down to this. Getting that top flare cleared nice and early on, giving themselves the time to be able to affect later on into the round. And it's forced a couple of changes. recognizing that IQ is likely going to be a perma pick here from NIP through necessity more than anything else. Falcons have gone, okay, we need to change things up a little bit. We maybe can't risk the Valkyrie again because it's just going to get found. We're not going to get too much value out of those cameras. We didn't land a single C4 last round, so that isn't even sort of marrying in quite nicely. So they're going to instead opt for almost the old-fashioned tech of just a fire canister, like a Vulcan canister.
Is that old-fashioned these days? Is it? I mean, he's been around for a while.
There's no electronics, is it? Yeah. It's just a capsule of petrol.
Just petrol,
and something to mount it to a wall. It's very, very simple stuff. So they're going for that anyway. It isn't going to get caught out on IQ scanners. And what it will do is it will buy them a little bit more time. It's a great area denial tool. So if they are feeling like they're losing this top floor a little bit too quickly, they can try and use some of those Vulcan canisters to sort of stop that as well.
Yeah, I would like to see them play more aggressive. NIP, you need to get in their face. You need to play aggressive against them. And I like this more. You know, being able to use the Solus to call out this information, but it's only good, Ollie, if someone's there to actually use that information and follow up with some swings. Remember, you can see if someone's on a window, on their camera, whatever it is. I'm surprised that they're not actually trying to punish NIP because they're very separate. You've got one guy in a window on the west side not holding anything, no one's there with him. You can maybe run out of east. You know, there's potential here that they could go for the run-outs, but they're not going to take it. And again, this is where I worry because NIP, Ollie, they're going to do the exact same thing again. They're not going to change their ways.
It's almost an action replay of what Cons did last time. Quibs this time isn't going to drop off straight away. Let's have a little bit more utility kicking around him this time. Muzi's got himself into that washroom position. First kill comes through. Cons, he's able to open the wall through into the top of Lumber and immediately take Quibs down. Maybe he should have dropped as Wizard. He's going to pick up another onto JLad. A C4 is thrown. A little bit of a delay on the detonation, but it isn't going to matter. Another Dokubi call rains through. This just makes it even more pressurizing for Falcons right now.
I mean, Wizard, he's in a great position just to cut off the crosses. If anyone from Falcons tries to maybe get back into the bomb site and assist, it just isn't going to happen. And that's exactly what he's done. So it just leaves a 1v5 for Falcons NIP, Ollie. It's even easier than what it was last time. It shouldn't be like that. Falcons have just allowed NIP to rinse the cycle again.
25 seconds left. O'Kills gets a glimpse and a chance. Is able to take down Cons with it. The diffuser maybe finds himself a second here, but he can't watch everything. Muzi on the top of the white stairs is able to cut him down. The Goyo canisters there even coming to the detriment of the Falcons. P9 had to push all the way through it because he got caught outside of that reading door and needed to come in. When you've got all that vertical access, you can't afford to be letting it go so quickly.
Yeah. I just think O'Kill's on the Solus, he needs to be more vocal and kind of almost demand players to come to him and swing off this information. They have a C4 they can use. There's potential. You know, there's a couple of guys in reading that they could have C4'd. There was options for them, but they're allowing NIP too much control. Way too much control. One thing I will say, though, about Falcons is it's only the one bomb site they've been to. They haven't been top floor, which should be really strong for them, considering the operators that are available, such as Mira, such as Valkyrie as well. There's still potential for them to pull it back.
Got replays there from that last round, not really going the Falcons' way.
I think they're nervous.
I think there's definitely a bit of nerves floating around. NIP look stone cold. They look icy.
As much as we say, you know, home crowd advantage, there's also going to be the pressure of, you know, performing for that home crowd, isn't there? There's always going to be that weight that you have to take in consideration. It kind of works both ways sometimes. Sure, it's great to have the crowd behind you if you're feeling it, but, you know, if things are going down, you start to dip the head, you're probably thinking, oh, I'm letting everyone down here, but not the case. No, everyone, I'm sure, in the studio and everyone in the arena are rooting for Falcons and try and get themselves back in this game.
I'm not sure if we're in a timeout at the moment, though.
I don't know.
It feels a little bit timeout-esque, doesn't it?
What about the stage, Ollie?
What about the stage?
What an intro.
I enjoyed that Bolo came and brought the trophy out.
He's just here. He's living it up.
He loves it.
Siege celebrities. And another one, he comes in tonight. King George is joining us as well.
You're
for the
excited
week.
about that one, aren't you?
KG, he is he's a very successful player in this game. Played one invite, won one invite.
Did you know there's another player?
Oh, I did.
Played one invite and won one invite.
Yes, indeed. He's currently playing at the moment.
Currently playing today. Not on this stream, though.
Not on this stream. B stream. G2 versus M80. Benja is the player that Ollie was referencing. Of course, he lifted that trophy in February, his first time at the competition, and he wins the trophy.
Just a confirmation that it is a tactical timeout, so I'm imagining that is a Falcons tactical
just
timeout.
to settle the nerves probably more than anything. I don't think strategically wise, it's just calm,
needed something.
Yeah.
Needed something. You know, we're looking at this and we're thinking, okay, O'Kills has got 2 kills. One of them was an exit frag. We need to do something about this. Guys, relax, play your game. It's a marathon. It's a best of 3. We're not even 3 rounds in, we're at the start of round 3.
Yeah.
There's so much time left. It doesn't matter how the first couple of rounds go. But if you give NIP that start, if you give them that momentum, it can be very difficult to drag it back. NIP have already done their job here, technically, on Attack on Cafe. They've got a couple of rounds.
Yeah, they got 2, which is...
You get 2 rounds, you can kind of relax a little bit because you know that your defense is going to be a little bit easier.
Top right already, and the Monty comes in. Again, NIP, they're playing, you know, a much more slower pace of Siege than what we're used to. And I think for a map like Cafe, especially Bakery, where Monty's really good at locking down the long corridors, just an info. You know, you think about you walk into small Bakery, you can look right down that red hallway, Ollie. You can see if there's a guy peeking you in coke, a guy peeking you in sight, a guy towards the bar. All that information is great for, you know, an operator like Monty. Even just walking into Bakery, being able to challenge and scare away players like P9, who is in a, you know, a bit of a difficult position to clear out, considering that he's got a mute jammer there as well. But as I say that, mute jammer is going to be disabled by that impact EMP, and that wall will be open, forces him away. Another benefit, of course, of taking them on is he does fill that niche role of having the impact EMPs.
Pino primed and ready here with Capital as a C4 does come out. Nade goes through. Warden activates the goggles, thinks about dipping back, but instead stays for the challenge. This is what we wanted to see from Falcons. Immediately traded off by Moosey's nade, but Psycho can get aggressive and play right up against that breach now. Not only can he call out where people are, so he now knows the mute's going to be swinging into prep, feeds that information over to Pino. It almost writes itself. We're now seeing O'Kills having to make that rotation back, get himself a little bit close to sight. Quibs can't really pass that double door due to the lines of sight that they've given themselves, and Psycho can just continue to call out for his team, getting a bit more information. Okay, we know there's one on double now. Anyone vertical that can deal with that? J-Lad, he's looking from above. Means that it's an effective 4 versus 2 on the site here, and as soon as NIP realise that with the drones, they're going to start to take advantage.
Yeah, it's so easy for Monty just to move in. He knows that he's always going to be able to take a battle where he's always facing frontwards, and not if he's going to get flanked or anything like that. But oh, look at that. The use of the Capital smoke bolts being able to cover off the vertical angles above allows him to move in. Diffuser is going down from Psycho, but there is still a bit of a fight back. O'Kills has taken down Pino. The lad needs to try and get in there. He needs to try and stop it, but it's not going to happen. Just Monty can sit in the corner now. Ollie, NIP, passive as it comes, can dip outside. Oh, almost catches the headshot to the Nomad, but there's the long angles from Collins, picks up the double. Well, it was a lot better from Falcons that round. They were almost trying to pull it back in, but just that Monty, the presence of that operator, Ollie, really overtook what Falcons were trying to cook up.
If that was round 1, you would look at that and go, wow, Falcons, they're here for the fight, they're ready for it. But because it's round 3, you sort of look at it and you go, NIP are just running rings. Yeah, they're doing whatever they want.
Sure, it's better from Falcons, but it's still not a round win.
They are doing whatever they want here.
Bomb located by attack.
Combination between the Monty and the Capital. I love the use of the Capital smoking off the above. Obviously got the Monty just being able to charge through and give out all of that important information. Psycho, you've got to assist him with 2, maybe 3 kills there, and he gets the plan down just from the call-outs that he was able to give.
Yeah, one thing as well I have to say about NIP is very minimalistic here in Cafe. They've just showcased, Ollie, that they won the round by taking Bakery, Small Bake, and that is it. Didn't go above, didn't try and take it towards Coat, didn't go towards Garage or Restaurant or VIP. It was as plain Jane as what anything is these days, isn't it? It's so simple for them. Falcons, downstairs again. I'm really shocked that they're not going above. Top floor is available, and Mira is up. Mira and top floor together, Ollie, it's low-key. It's a bit broken, I'll be honest, because there's nothing you can really do against them. It's so strong, that top floor mirror windows. I'm really shocked that they're not going for it. Mega shocked.
I've seen you mauled over mirror windows a couple of times being available on maps. I remember.
It's just on top floor. It's literally the top floor mirror windows. It is so good.
It's so good. And there's so many different ways that you can play it as well. And I think that NIP were almost expecting that, because in the first round, we saw Twitch play. Now, you bring Twitch, you're going to want to try and disable gadgets. You bring them, ideally, if you're going to want to try and deal with the mirror window, because it's a great way on the top floor of dealing with it without going below and, you know, going through all of that sort of rigmarole. We've not seen the Twitch since. Now, of course, it's used for other things. You can disable other gadgets with it. But its primary use is, of course, going to be that mirror window. And I think that NIP were maybe expecting a little bit more mirror plays to come out of Falcons here.
Pino using the Camaras instead of the C8, which is an interesting one. Opting for the DMR. NIP, they're looking at a bit of a different approach only this time. They're going to try and go for that verticality. And one thing you have to say about NIP and maybe changing things up is, do you think this is where they feel a bit more confident that they can maybe try and push for the, you know, if you're going for this strat, you have to be ready that there could be roamers. And NIP, we know, they're not the greatest at sometimes those opening engagements, but the fact that they went for it, probably realizing that Falcons haven't really looked sharp in the early game. They haven't looked to aggress onto them. They haven't looked for roams. Falcons have been so passive. And NIP, knowing that, they say, they're giving us the map for nothing.
Let's take it.
Let's just take it.
We did have J-Lad above last time. Psycho just getting a shoulder peek onto the Jaeger down below. I'm not sure if J-Lad rotated up last time or if he was spending the majority of the round up there. But of course, he isn't going to be there this time. And NIP are going, brilliant, we'll bring the book. We'll make a mess of this floor. We'll get all these vertical angles. We don't, you know, we're not just going to crutch onto the Monty. We're not a one-trick pony outfit here. We've got a lot of tricks up our sleeve. Another Dokkaebi call comes through. For all that we talk about, impressive operator.
Oh, I love it.
Dokkaebi has to be mentioned as well. We are seeing quite a bit of value there out of the Ossa. J-Lad is allowed to make a little bit of a reposition there. There's a Fenrir gadget in this mixture as well, so it's all not ideal, but look at what happens from above. Quips is able to find one back. This is better from Falcons, but the plant is still going down here. We are going to see a great swing there. The Psycho and Muzi pick up one apiece. NIP, they aren't missing, Demo.
No, again, it's so clean. That was really good opportunity spotting from NIP, a team which we said maybe don't play as fast as Siege and being able to see things. Hey, let's take this now. They done that. They were able to see that they're playing very heavy off-site. There's no presence above, as we know. And Kitchen struggles probably similar to what happened in Reading, where if you open up everything, there's not a lot of safe positions you can sit in to actually stop plants going down. You almost have to play from outside the site. You look at VIP and Restaurant, for example. We seen Quibs in there. He was able to get one kill drop, but he can't do it all. And one thing as well I want to point out is the Lion from NIP. What a strong position. Being able to lock down the long white corridor into VIP, into Restaurant, but also then he had a deadly angle ollie in through Freezer, through the doorway, onto the double door. So even covering that swing, NIP had every single position that Falcons could try and play covered. They are so mentally ready for this ollie. It's as if they're literally reading like a book, and it says, right, step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this. P.S. They will do this. You know, they're given, the book has reminders for them. It's a cheat guide they must have up there.
It certainly feels that way. I think it does also speak to this sort of core of NIP as well. You look at the core of Muzi, Pino, and Psycho. These guys have played together for a long old time.
Love the pick up of Cons. You know, we've seen this guy back whenever you're starting out, back in the Brazil circuit. A really underrated player.
Santos?
Yeah. You know, well, I mean, hey, we've seen that Santos Dexterity team, and of course that W7M team. Look at the players now that they've been able to produce. It's kicked some of the old guard out, hasn't it? You know, some of the old guard have had to go and coach M&M, for goodness sake. That's what's happened. You've went to coach M&M.
We were ahead of the time, though.
Oh, really were?
Ahead of the years. 4 rounds here, NIP have been able to chain together.
This is unheard of in Cafe.
Pretty devastating. Pretty devastating. They're showing no signs of slowing down.
Still no upstairs, by the way.
I honestly think that Falcons are pretty scared to go upstairs.
They shouldn't be.
Look at this amount of information. Surely O'Kills is good.
3 players with cams.
Knows that the cams have come through, knows there's a chance he's been misdroned. Can he find the shot? Ooh, just fluffs it. Maybe the trigger discipline wasn't quite there. There are plenty of players up here this time. We do have a little bit of utility kicking around as well. NIP know this.
So a little bit more of a roam approach. Only one player really in the bomb site, Ollie. 4 players above. This is what we wanted to see more from Falcons, is actually take it to NIP. Just don't give them everything. Actually make them fight for it. Get some kills against NIP. They should know that NIP will struggle from time to time in the opening engagements, but they're not going for it. But again, even look at the pacing. At this time, NIP were like pretty much, they had top floor at this stage. Now they're only just getting into reading. Times have changed.
Mission C4 goes out from JLad. Isn't going to be successful. Cox able to open up the wall again into the top of white. Quibs this time going to find the opening pick for the first time for the Falcons. Cons is shut down. A lot of his work has been done though, and he should have cut this top floor in half. Quibs, location known, easily taken out there by Pino. There were a number of NIP guns looking in that direction, and what a flick from Pino onto JLad. He spoke about P9 being the sole roamer below. He's the only one that's not seen any action yet. Joker be playing on that Oryx. P9 thinking about a little bit of a rotation up here, just cautious of a drone or maybe an air jab of something of that nature. It's not the air jab you need to be worried about, it's the gun. Wizard, he's able to take him out on the Nomad. And Joker, now with a lot of work to do inside of 20 seconds, picks up the first. Wizard still has Diffuser in hand, but Muzi is there to collect. Muzi putting in the hard yards here. It's not easy to play the IQ and still frag out like that.
Yeah, it's been a kind of religious pick, hasn't it, for them? It's always going to be there. And well, I mean, Ollie, you kind of foreshadowed this. You've done this. You said that getting rinsed by a Brazil team is something that happens to the best of us.
It's a rite of passage.
Is this what you were talking about?
It is.
5-0 on Cafe. I mean, again, like, Falcons, you're not going above. I'm still a little bit annoyed that they're kind of doing this to themselves. Such a strong bomb site, and they're not picking it.
It's going to be devastating when we get ourselves onto the other side.
That'll be the first pick, yeah.
And NIP are on defense, and then we start to see what gets brought out from them. Like that's really going to be when the troubles start here for Falcons. Obviously, it's only map 1. There's still 2 more maps here if required. Guaranteed to see at least another 1.
10 seconds to go.
Well,
5 seconds left.
Finally, we're going to see the top floor. If this ends in a win, I'll just be sat here thinking, you could have 2 rounds instead of 1.
Have a look at what you could have won.
Could have had more.
I'm not sure it would be that straightforward.
Well, it's like you lose the big money spin, and it's like, well, let's show you what you could have won. Just rub it in them.
Falcons have defaulted this time. They've gotten rid of the Solace, and they've also gotten rid of the Fenrir. For all that we've spoken about Fenrir, Falcons haven't seen great value out of it.
It's probably because it's not a great matchup against NIP, where NIP will just like rip things apart. They'll pick everything. They'll see where every setup is, and they'll just methodically go through it. Teams who are a little bit more, let's go for this. Sure, we may die to this, and we're not really thinking about Fenrirs. That's where it comes into play. But NIP ain't that team.
And then you think about the information that was gathered from the Solace. Yeah, the info's there, but there's no one really to act on.
NIP don't care if you know where they are. They'll still come get you.
They're pretty happy. Yeah. Like, we can only be so many places. It doesn't matter if you know where we are. Especially with some of the shots that NIP have been hitting today. Pino, 7-1. Wizard, 5-1. Muzi, 6-1. These guys aren't losing gunfighters.
Whereas you look on the other side, we've got 0-5, 0-5 from P9 and Jalad equally, and only 3 kills. The top kills for no kills.
Oh, what a devastating nade. P9 lucky to be alive there, Pino. Seen a good bit of value out of that first nade. Maybe going to double dip and go for a second. The yellow pin is still there, but as we can see, P9 has dug himself in just a little bit deeper. And NIP certainly taking their time over this one. Pino is going to get run out on from below as we finally see some of that aggression, but it isn't going to matter. 2 kills instantly responded to.
Yeah, that was a great rotate, it has to be said, for Muzi, being able to slip his way in through Red Hat, straight into Cigar Shop, and then have that long angle to try and cover. If anyone tries to sprint towards Heaven, if anyone maybe tries to go outside pillars and go for that run out, he's there to cover it. So a great little pocket play there for Muzi. It keeps him on the toes now, because Falcons, they have to drag someone over there to try and mark Muzi, and that's going to be Quibs inside a piano. So essentially it's a 2v3 on site, but NIP, they're not really in a great position to maybe execute. They're probably wanting to swing in towards the window. That's a yellow ping. They know that Jalad is here with the shotgun, keep in mind, from Legion, rips into it, but they both trade. There's the run out from O-Kills, but Wizard has the refrag. He's in the site, Ollie.
Much better there from Falcon. The patience that was shown by O-Kills there on that run out was phenomenal. He's still hanging around the bottom of this reading door.
Where's Diffuser? Is it outside? Wasn't it? It was Cons had it. Is it not outside East? It is outside East, Ollie. This is an issue because they need Diffuser. 15 seconds to go.
There's still time here. O-Kill's location's known, but he has got some information of his own.
Going
He's
for the
going to
kill.
try and stay alive now as there's only 10 seconds left. Isn't going to be aware of Muzi, but isn't either going to be aware of Wizard. Wizard choosing the right option there to drop down and assist his teammate. They had no option but to go for the kills. 6 clean rounds, and that's the closest it's come so far.
On the top floor, may I add.
On the top floor.
If they had the mirror, that could have been the right way. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
But they had the diffuser outside. They had almost everything that you would have wanted. You've got players inside and a diffuser outside.
Yep.
The only better place it could have been was on the roof.
Again, just you look at what Falcons did better that time. They were more aggressive. You look at the runouts. 2 runouts happened in the same door.
Yeah. Very patient as well with those runouts.
I mean, Legion Shotgun's a fun one. Did you see that? That made the appearance.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I think had that been the T5, maybe you would have had a slightly different outcome, but...
And this is what I'm talking about as well. The fact that they had, Muzi over by himself towards red stairs. Quibs couldn't hold the drop from Piano. And that takes the man away, and then you can see just an easy drop from Wizard in. Just little moments like that. Just a man advantage is so important for a map like Cafe.
So another defender that has seen a little bit of a change that we haven't yet spoken about, but it is a prime time to speak on. One of your favourites, Demo. Thorn.
Why is that one of my favorites?
Because when Thorn first came out, you were loving it.
1.5x now.
1.5x side.
I mean, is it going to be the end all and be all? I mean, it shouldn't be.
It's good enough for Muzi, it's good enough for me.
It's good enough for Muzi, it's good enough for you.
That's what I'd say.
Observation blockers is another thing. We've got a triple observation blocker set up in Cigar Shop. So obviously we're going to be seeing not the reading bomb site, it's going to be mining and dining is the selected bomb site, the one that we didn't see at all from Falcons, but NIP have chose it first. Look at this hold, Ollie, that they have. They have 1 player in the site, which is expected, and 4 roamers all around the map. They have 1 player, Suicide, holding inside the Cigar Shop with the castle barricades, with all the observation blockers as well, just so they'll never really know where he is. They know he's in there, but they don't know. It's like bringing a pocket vigil, but you don't have the vigil. You think about it like that way, isn't it?
But you've got more things than the vigil. It's fantastic. I don't think we saw Falcons actually use the observation blockers. I didn't spot it if we did.
Observation block, they're a bit...
Coupled with the mute jammer. It's almost impossible here. Psycho just pops up. He's playing whack-a-mole there. Joker might have got the castle barricade, but that is all you will get. Unforgivable to not drone out the stage.
Falcons, that's going to hurt them a bit, because obviously castle barricades, there's more than one that castle can bring, so losing it on the Ash is going to be an issue. Good refrag, though, from P9, being able to take out Psycho. That does free up potential of just a piano swing and free minibar, for example, Ollie. If no one's going to be there to cover it for NIP, it could get them in the building. Falcons, however, it looks as if they're also going to try and challenge players like Pino, but look how far away Pino is from the actual bomb site. If Pino dies, they're not going to lose control of the site. That's very, very far away, so that's the only issue I have for Falcons, but Jalad, he's just been able to walk in towards Reading, I think, through pillar door. Nobody been able to stop him and picks up a freebie.
Look at the access he's got to site now as well. Try and open up that soft wall and maybe try and do something with it. Cons could see some great timing, but unfortunately can't land the finishing blow. Pino forced to drop here as Falcons are putting on a bit of a masterclass of their own. Muzi, it is only you that stands between this and a flawless first map here for NIP. There is still potential. You can't quite get an angle on the plant that's going down, but he's got a good bit of information. Can he land the first? Yes. Players almost lining up nicely for him there. The plant is re-attempted here by JLab. He's only down to the CZ. Quibs, he's going to swing the corner. Falcons, they pick up a round demo. They're in the game.
They are in the game. First round goes to them. Honestly, I think just Jalad being able to see opportunity spot on by himself, take good control of reading, find a kill. And he almost, whenever he had control of reading, it was really nice from Falcons to see all of them go with him. Being able to hear that call and say, guys, no one's here. We can walk in and plant. They're all upstairs. They're not holding us. Remember, that specific, dining room area, there's no verticality above it. That's a solid corridor above them. Nothing's going to stop them, and they just walk in and plant. That's exactly what they did.
Do you think that site choice was a case of NIP going, look, we've got a chance to not give anything away here on our defenses? It's not the best site on the map.
Maybe.
Are they just looking to get away from Cafe as quickly as possible now and not really give too much away?
I just think that that's something that they tried in scrims and it worked once, and they thought, oh, let's do it now. Let's try it now. And no, scrims and games are very different. One thing I wish players understood, you know, players right here say, oh, scrims are really well. I'm like, okay, scrims are really well, but it means nothing to me.
I've heard that a few times, actually, over the course of this weekend.
Until I see them do it, until they do it on the big stage, means nothing, Ollie.
Downstairs we go. Down into the kitchen. NIP still in great stead here to take this first map. There's a big old mountain ahead of the Falcons to climb. They want to try and bring this one back.
Look at the setup from NIP. This is as expected as it comes, I think, for Kitchen and what you would expect. You have the extension towards raiding VIP. A little bit of a bakery hold as well. Echo's always going to be a good one for this, just for the sheer information. Potential plant denial sometimes happens. I must say, I like the Clash pickup. I do like the Clash pickup. Very, very strong, because, again, similar to what Monty did in that long corridor, just be able to see where players are. You can say, okay, they're in small now. Oh, there's a guy Pashuko. You can go over towards Garage. Okay, there's two guys here on me. Being able to count numbers on who's on what side gives you very quick and early access of what they're pushing. Teams either push the back or they push the front for this side. There's no in between. If you see 4 people pushing Garage, guess what they're going to go for. If you see 4 people pushing Bakery, guess what they're going to go for. The only time you'd say, okay, maybe what they're going to go for is if you see people go upstairs. But then again, if no one's outside Bakery, no one's outside Garage, then you know they're going to go above. Very good just for that early information game.
And it does quite a bit to slow down the attackers as well, and I think that's something that NIP could do with doing, especially with how opportunistic Falcons were in the previous round. As soon as they saw a gap, they were straight in there. But now, winning the Clash, it's just giving them something else to think about here. There's another little mini-game for you to solve, and it likely is going to force you into a little bit more of a vertical take, because then you can start to affect onto the Clash in a way that it isn't going to affect onto you. Hence, we are seeing action upstairs, where Joker is going to be charging to get a little bit of access open. Kills up here with him. Now we can start to drone out and get some ideas as to where players are. One thing this is doing, Demo, it's easy.
I don't think Falcons really know what they want to push yet as well. Because again, I think they probably see the Clash towards Garage and they're thinking, we don't really have anything that can take that out unless they want to waste maybe 2 nades from Oak Hills. They have to be really good nades, being time to go into the back of Clash rather than, of course, at the front, where you take less explosive damage with the shield pointing forward than, obviously, if you get hit in the back. So that's one thing they have to keep in mind of. That's not going to be a good start. You lose the nades that I just talked about, Ollie, because Oak Hills tried to just solo push Bakery by himself.
You've now got no way to deal with that Clash effectively. You've got to try and catch them off guard. P9 knows that somebody's there inside of Christmas. Joker going to be going for this swing now as well. A little bit of a reposition, though, from Psycho. It's Pino. He's going to be there to back him up. P9 just going to try and push his way in through the side door, but you can't do that if Pino's still knocking around. There's a player down there, and we'll be finished off with Clash's shield. A 7-1 scoreline on our opening map here. Falcons versus NIP.
Yeah, all credit to NIP. A fantastic, flawless attacking half that I can't remember the last time I ever seen that in Cafe attacks. Credit to them. It's, again, you said, this always happens. You know, the team that doesn't have a lot of experience against Brazil, you will be Braziled.
They got Brazil. And you know what? It just kind of happens to everybody. It's something that you've got to go through as a professional Rainbow Six team. It doesn't really matter which Brazilian team it's going to be. It could be one of many